for this Georgia Tech squad that they also have a return of their own worth noting tonight, and that, of course, is head coach Nell Fortner, who is back on the bench after missing a couple of her own with illness. And the tip has us underway. It goes to, guess who else is in the lineup tonight? Kayla King for Virginia Tech. Both of those somewhat questionable and day-to-day coming in, but both Amoore and King a welcome sight in the starting lineup for those filling up Castle Coliseum as we speak. Goes inside to Kitley, turnaround, and she drops home the first bucket of the night.
Isn't that fitting? The joke is death taxes and Elizabeth Kitley's jumper.
Another 30-point performance, her fifth against the Clemson Tigers on Sunday, filling up the gap when you talk about the absence of Amoore, who brings it up the floor one more time. Looking ahead to King. You're wearing that sleeve on that right leg, but again, both of them heavily involved in shoot-around earlier today. Both of their names in the starting lineup tonight. Kitley showing her range. She's good on her first two from the floor.
There are no more superlatives that we can give to Liz Kitley. She was two-time ACC Player of the Year, and she is significantly better than either one of those versions of her.
When you talk about her overall point production, 22+ every time she hits the floor on average. Boy, what a move down the right side. And Virginia Tech trying to run the Castle Coliseum streak to 21 overall, 13 consecutive in the ACC. That's just how kind this place has been. This shot for Virginia Tech grabs your attention at 7-2 to get things started for the Hokies. 5 to shoot for Georgia Tech, and this rims off.
That's kind of their identity since Nell Fortner has been on the flats.
Been her identity for a long time. Whether you talk about Auburn, whether you talk about Purdue, or the Olympic impact she's had, you know they're going to play strong defense.
Another 6'6" player.
You know, finding a spot between the trees there momentarily was Morgan, but she could not get the shot to fall, and here's Amoore up the floor with it. Dumps this off to Wenzel down the right side.
She finds a way to make plays in every game.
Had her first career start versus the Tigers as they tried to find enough bodies to make it work. Contingency tonight, Coach.
And they've gotten better every single year Kenny Brooks has been here.
13-4 start for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, you better get back. Georgia Tech has a bunch of people that can push the ball down the floor. Nice alert play after Amoore missed the layup. She's at the basket, so she's not back on defense.
She then moved on to be the first head coach and general manager of the WNBA's Indiana Fever before her 8 years at the helm in Auburn. She got back into the coaching scene in 2019 at Georgia Tech with big things set on her mind at a school she says she considers to be a gold mine. Guys?
Well, and has a mind on developing young players, still focused in on the essence, on the foundational elements of coaching that have been such a part of her career. But I loved what she told us at shoot-around today. She said, you know, sitting on the couch watching the last couple of games, she said, if anything, it gave me a different lens and a set of fresh eyes to come back and tackle some things with this young team.
Yeah, she talked about the big perspective and how tough it was to sit on that couch and not be able to do something about what she saw.
Said one thing she wanted, play harder, attack. Well, coming out trying to do that tonight, but running into a hot shooting Virginia Tech team. 7 of 10 from the floor to begin. Well, you can make it 8 of 11, and another bucket for Kitley, who already has put together a double-digit performance to start this night for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, a beautiful screen and a wonderful pass by Matilda Eck in perfect timing.
Well, perfect is a nice word to use, as this is swatted away by Strack. How about that effort? And they're just as big on defense here in Blacksburg. Listen to them on the edge of their seats.
Yeah, really a tough situation, you know, with a lot of tough matchups, but you can erase a mistake when you've got somebody at 6'5" behind you and Kitley at 6'6".
Able to work through all of that, quiet the crowd momentarily as Morgan lays this off the glass, and inside 3 minutes to go in the opening period.
Morgan's one of those tough matchups.
A much-needed bucket for Georgia Tech. You used the word perfect a moment ago. That's exactly what Kitley is from the floor so far. 5 for 5 her start. Season open teammate here, and this is going to stay out top. Guess who's there? Make it 6 of 6.
Right on cue. Yeah, and I said it earlier, and it just sounds crazy to say, but two-time player of the year, and she is a lot better than she was a year ago. She does more things. There's more diversity to her game. She's a better defender, and she's always been a great leader.
Pulls down the board here, averages 11.2 of those to go alongside the 22 points on average per night. She already has 12 and 3 rebounds in this contest. They go inside to Kitley again. Her turnaround falls. A beautiful fadeaway of games. It really bridged the gap in many ways, Coach, certainly on Sunday in the contest against Clemson. But with the full contingency for the Hokies, it seems she's been able to settle into her own rhythm tonight.
Yeah, she really has. And Georgia Tech's done an interesting thing now. Rather than match size, they've gone with a smaller lineup.
Turnaround. Clara Strack a bucket.
Hokies sharing the ball. 7 assists on 11 field goals so far.
And I'm going to say it again. Let's use that number 11. 11 field goals in 15 tries for the Hokies to this juncture. Rusney Augustinaida had a career-high 30 in November against the Florida Gators.
Yeah, you can't go under that ball screen with her.
A native of Lithuania, one of the many international players on this group. But
Georgia Tech makes a big three. Amoore comes straight back and gets a wide-open layup, beating her man off the dribble.
You get that tonight. Georgia versus Georgia Tech. You don't always get that without the block G,
we
right?
Needed that.
But Virginia Tech has it in terms of Amoore. How about this move to get near the hoop for Georgia Tech thus far?
Yeah, she's scoring all her points in the paint and really doing a great job of beating whoever guards her off the dribble.
Leads the Jackets with 4 and shows her defensive ability and will stay on this end.
We told you what an athlete she was.
Had her 5th double-double of the year against BC, and a nice hand as the departure of Strack ends up working Baker into the lineup. Just ahead of the horn. When everything's going your way, everything's going your way.
Have a pretty good crowd here. All right, as always, just have fun. Let's go out. One thing we can control today is the one win. All right, so get win number 1. Come on.
Bottle it up and sell it.
Yeah.
This team starting 13 of 18 from the floor out to a 28-13 advantage. But you get a glimpse, a little window there, Coach, into just how much respect there is in the room for Kenny Brooks.
One of the best in the country, and this program is built on trust. He trusts his trust in the players and their trust in him, how to play with each other.
You referenced Taylor Saul in the building tonight, among others. We saw Mike Young looking on, his team picking up a big win this week already. Absolutely. Back to keep an eye on what's happening here for the 19th ranked women's basketball team in the country on this night. That foul a moment ago picked up by Blackshear, her first, as we were walking it through some of the Kenny Brooks accolades. And now Georgia Tech slowing this possession down, only 6 to shoot for the Jackets. Goes to the interior, now kicked back out to Morgan. She'll find the ability to weave. First picked up on Kitley here as you see her come over and draw the foul.
Georgia Tech's been good on this end other than being able to guard Kitley.
Kicks this out top. Wenzel zip pass inside. Fighting for every inch of real estate. Just outside the lane. And
really nice patience by the veteran from Wake Forest. She just took her time, didn't panic, finally got an opening.
So Wake Forest connection strong. You think about the family connections, obviously, for Kitley. Had outstanding ACC athletes. What a find it as Augustinaida gets involved.
Yeah, you can't give her any space at all. That's how good a shooter she is.
Yeah, and that's her prime space. Just 3 to shoot for the Jackets. It's going to require a 3. Morgan heaves one up. Gets the front of the iron, but the rebound to Kitley.
Amoore pushes it. Didn't have any help.
Somehow weaves through traffic. Still finds a window in which to shoot. And at Castle, looking to extend the record for the program. 13 in a row in the ACC if things continue to go this well tonight. Hokies really enjoying their time, particularly on this floor, Coach.
Yeah, that was a good play by Kitley defensively against Blackshear. Didn't give her a chance to wheel back.
To try and build upon this 34-21 advantage. You know, if you wanted a snapshot of...
You know, not only is she the leader as the point guard, she's also the emotional leader of this team.
For more for this Hokies squad that is reminding everybody in the ACC tonight just how deadly they can be when everybody's on the floor. Nice little look. Stays with Virginia Tech. Hokies going to get a 3 look out of it. Wenzel too strong. And in the end, Georgia Tech will clear it. Inside 5 remaining in the opening half. You're keeping an eye on it, 16 of 26.
The birthday girl at point guard now, Sydney Johnson.
Down the left side. Just how much of an elevation, even
literally 42% of the field goals that they make.
You're talking about a couple of the top distributors in the ACC. When you look at the list of 5, they certainly find their names there. Just over 4 minutes to play. Who comes away with another bucket. She's already eclipsed her average scoring tonight. A good night already for Strack.
Just a freshman, and she is going to be another special post player.
Albiance Carter, she's out of Norcross, one of the seniors on this Jackets program. And coming off of what Coach Fortner said was the toughest year of her coaching career a year ago, but she stuck it out with so many of these youngsters. This is a team that was hungry, so they weren't going to allow that to happen again. And the recent returns in the ACC indicating just how much they've grown up.
Suffering to Baker, a couple freshmen. You're going to hear their names called a lot going forward if you're a Virginia Tech fan.
Suffering, of course, the latest of 18 field goals in 28 tries in this first half for Virginia Tech.
Termes with the three-point shot right there. Kitley didn't get out on her. I told you, Termes is a real shooting threat.
Kitley grabs a couple of those right back on the other end of the floor, and you can give Kitley 19 in this first half alone. Remember, she's coming off of the latest of the 30-point game.
A great family tradition. She posted the freshman Baker up that time.
Tried to step out, swat away the pass there. Wasn't to be, but Georgia Tech comes away with possession after all. 2 and change remaining in the opening half.
Taking it to the rim off the dribble.
I'll say it again, Coach. It's the deficit for Georgia Tech. Her team able to accomplish that, though the Hokies. 4 to shoot for the Hokies. Amoore will. Too strong, back of the iron. And this eventually off and into the hands of Noredo. .122 to play in the half. And looked like something happened underneath. Not yet getting up, and Georgia Tech short-handed on the other end of the floor. They'll let this play out before stopping action, and this is a continuation in many ways of what's been some attrition for the Jackets in the early part of this game.
You hate to see anybody, and hopefully it's not serious.
To read into that as we get a look at exactly what happened.
Yeah, it looked like planted the left leg. The knee may have given a little bit. Again, you hope it's not anything serious at all.
Now Fortner looking on, as you saw there, has to be wondering, what can I do to keep all the bodies on the floor, keep everybody healthy? Termes has it up top. Inside a minute to go in the half. Underneath, disagree.
X had a good first half defensively for the most part.
For Virginia Tech, also having pulled down a couple of boards, says Eck, and you talk about what a bite the Jackets have taken out of this lead late in the half. Here's Amoore, baseline, lays it. Turnaround from distance, a little strong.
Hokies to be able to take the last shot. You love the ball in Amoore's hand in this situation.
Amoore at the horn. Tremendous shooting half for the Hokies, and on the return of Georgia Amoore. Well, set to inbound, I guess, tonight, Tay. Remember, she was hobbling just a bit at one point in the first half. Looks no worse for the wear now. Blackshear was the other one that we'll check the status of as we roll into this third quarter, because you'll remember she left toward the end of the first half, went straight up the tunnel. Matt scramble for it, tie up, possession error, will keep it right where it is. There's a look, came out on crutches, and as you can see, looks comfortable on that Georgia Tech bench. Certainly not what you want to see for the Jackets.
No, she's a real tough matchup, and was starting to get going when she got injured.
Tremendous competitor who is responsible for, on average, 12-plus points per night for the Jackets. This one taken away by Kayla King. She, remember, was injured in that Clemson contest on Sunday, but started tonight and has been a factor for the Hokies as well. Nobody more so than Kitley and Amoore down the left side, and she'll draw contact.
Yeah, and Kayla King missed a lot of the first half. Only played 9 minutes due to picking up 2 quick fouls. Among the nation's leaders in assists, and she's continued that here tonight.
Comes at the 9:07 mark, third quarter just underway. All right.
There's a set play where Georgia Amoore can go with the right hand. Great start, but she's probably the most physical defender for Kitley down low.
Juan Adenaz, one of the Spaniards on this squad. From beyond the arc once more. She is now 2 of 4 from downtown and has 16 total, trailing only Kitley with 19.
She's going with 12 points in that first half. Set out the last 4 minutes with 2 fouls.
Yeah, give me a breakdown from Morgan.
She's such a good athlete, and she's, I think, still learning to play the point guard spot, running the floor in transition, pushing the basketball down the floor.
Absent Blackshear, going to be the combo of she and Morgan trying to make something happen. The feed inside.
So hard to stay in front of the Yellow Jackets. They have so many people who can beat you off the dribble.
Interior, Kitley, enough of a window to shoot. Thanks, Kendall. Back to work here at the 6:18 and ticking downward mark third quarter. You know, I asked you, Coach, a little bit earlier what you thought the conversation.
Said, listen, you know, they had a couple incredible performances, and we're still in this thing. We just have to do what we do: play defense, take advantage of the matchups on the offensive end, and keep grinding away, like all Nell Fortner teams do.
You got that right. Enough disruption from Amoore that Morgan dribbled that off her foot. So Georgia Tech had the retreat. Set thing ends up going in the books as a second personal against Summiel. Points, 5 of 11 from the field, and having knocked down 4 of now 6.
Yeah, we'll see if Kara Dunn gets going now.
Or actually check that, as she's playing with 3.
To be important. That's the 5th foul. Virginia Tech now in the bonus with 5.5.
Here's Dunn, top of the key. Looking inside. That one is cleanly blocked. Summiel again, and now they're going to...
But yeah, defense is winning the third quarter.
See what Coach Fortner has drawn up on this possession. Jackets were hanging around at the half, still right there around single digits, despite the hot shooting first half for Virginia. With international talent, this Georgia Tech squad made the trip abroad into Europe over the summer, one of many programs to do so. Talked about how that helped this team come together, gel as a unit. They saw the home locations, got to eat some of the favorite foods of a number of the players on this squad. To get your legs underneath you if you're Georgia Tech.
Yeah, 0 for 8. What's the answer? Make a couple.
Amoore down the lane. She will answer by she and Kitley, who has 23, reminding everybody here in Blacksburg what a duo they are for the Hokies. Augusta Nida.
The confidence, Virginia Tech has to pay special attention to her. She's not just a shooter, she is a scorer.
It seems to be no worse for the wear after we saw her a little bit, like we said, kind of gingerly working to the sideline earlier. She's in double figures. Johnson with it. You said it. Birthday accolades her direction on this night. Ends up being nothing but air. Over to Wenzel. Here is King. And right back to Wenzel. More than one body on Kitley. She somehow dribbles away. Top of the key. 10 to shoot. Dunn goes down the lane. Strack will have none of it. And here comes Amoore.
There's that size advantage we talked about.
Kick out to King. 3 rims off.
It would have brought the roof down.
Yes, it would.
The crowd was anticipating King making that shot.
Just off the mark. And the ACC, in many ways, the cream of the crop when you look at things nationally, Coach.
Yeah, certainly the best women's basketball, I think, in the country. Deep and really good.
You were talking tears prior to the game today as we were discussing how the ACC is broken down.
Exactly.
Augusta Nida picking up the foul just a moment ago. Here's Kitley with the turnaround as the next sequence begins, but this is often into the hands of Morgan. this down to Dunn. Dunn 0 of 8 from the floor tonight. Morgan, who has it in her hands, 14 points to lead the way alongside the 12 of Augustinida for Georgia Tech. Few possessions of Virginia Tech.
The ball didn't rotate. Somebody touched the ball for sure, so I think that was the right call.
Kitley with it in her hands as we start the fourth. She has 27. Amoore with 18, just 5 to shoot on this possession. Amoore will. Amoore, who has been welcomed back to the fold by the faithful in Blacksburg, has been equal to the task.
Shot clock, game clock, it doesn't matter to Georgia Amoore, but she better get a hand.
Wenzel departing here, greeted by her teammates, back into the hands of Amoore. By the way, double-double already with the 11 assists for Amoore, and she, per league game, third in the ACC, had another there. Picks up the rebound, team numbers, and just a remarkable moment for Kitley. And I'll go back to it, just kind of underscore it, Coach. Her closing speed there, the wingspan, and the ability to get to the basketball, impressive.
Again, another example of her improvement.
Down the left side. And here's Amoore. And she drains this. And the splits are as impressive as well. This is a team that has just put the margins together like you're seeing tonight. When the coach, the students having shown up once more, and they're on the verge of running the streak to 13 ACC games and 21 overall contests in a row, one in this facility.
Yeah, that makes a lot of people want to come out to Castle, and season tickets were sold out this year for the women, and they've had a couple sellouts already.
22 the margin in ACC games in this facility on average this season.
Yeah, that's amazing. Augustinida tried to cut into that margin the last time down, but the answer, Summiel.
That'll extend it. Summiel in double figures. She becomes the third alongside Kitley and Amoore on this night with that tray. And I know what you're keeping an eye on with 77 going up on the board.
Yeah, I think it is bow time.
Amoore directing plenty of traffic before she tosses it inbound. The left hand. And speaking of contact in the... As Eck looks to knock down another, she will.
And that has pushed that lead out over 20.
The type of result that you hope you get. You could see it in the body language and in the communication from Coach Brooks at the half. But with the way his team has created the separation in the second half, Coach, you know he's going to be even more pleased with what the outcome is trending toward here.
Yeah, and good execution. Again, on the out-of-bounds play, got a wide-open look from Carleigh Wenzel.
Morgan puts this on the floor. She'll find a way to
through contact.
And the young sophomore from Tallahassee still fighting to the tune of an 18-point night.
Big competitor, and she'll keep battling.
You got to remember, this is a night in which Georgia Tech, toward the end of the half, lost Blackshear. You think about her impact, Blackshear's impact, and Dunn, and what that trio is supposed to be.
They're on the bench. The roommates had a heck of a night here in Castle.
Yeah, and Suffren, who's along the way in that contest as she sees action again.
Yeah, had played extended minutes since a shot by Johnson.
Virginia Tech shot the lights out in the first half and then pulled away in this fourth. Summiel again, this time with the follow and the finish.
Yeah, got that ninth rebound. You know she'd love to have that double-double.
One more alongside the 12 points she has secured tonight. About this facility, and we gave you the numbers on how well Virginia Tech plays here, but one of those that has built a very unique relationship. Now Morgan there to contest as well. Open look off the screen, but that is going to be back of the iron. Cleaned up, sent right back to Eck. Trying to work baseline. Able to do so. Or the Hokies to be able to bring those leaders off the floor, let them sit and watch for just a moment, kind of reflect upon what this evening has been. It is a reminder, and certainly something you know Coach Brooks and his staff want to let sink in. You saw Nell Fortner, the coach of the Jackets, reminding us just from one season to the next for the likes of Dunn and Morgan, as we've documented for sure.
Yeah, and if you can have a lot of players coming back that contribute, and then the success of the program for both of these coaches.
Kind of somewhat quietly as it's in Morgan's hands, she has put together that career night and will add.
Talk about what she's done on the offensive end, on the defensive end. she's had the responsibility of chasing the light.
So quite a performance as she caps it perhaps with this free throw. 8 of 9 from the stripe, and she has 26. Inside the final minute, as you begin to reflect a little bit on what we have witnessed in this one tonight, Coach, what are your takeaways from what Virginia Tech has been able to do?
Well, I think they saw more people step up, even though the stars were the stars tonight. But a lot of different people contributed to this win tonight for Kenny Brooks' group.
We talked about movement in the ACC at Syracuse coming up. Then, of course, the Commonwealth Clash to open the month of February. And then a big one on the road in Chapel Hill against North Carolina. NC State looms behind that. So heading into a stretch that will be critical in late January and early February. Virginia Tech has a win to build on. It goes final at 87-69. The return of Georgia Amoore, one of the great lifts in a win over Georgia Tech for Kenny.